Hey everybody, it's Tyler. I am 7 months on T and 2 weeks post-op with Dr. Garramone. I wanted to talk, and I have to do this fast because I'm not supposed to be in the sun and all that stuff. But I did want to talk about my experience with Dr. Garramone and with New Beginnings Retreat because that's where I stayed. First off, my experience with Dr. Garramone was nothing short of great. I know that a lot of people claim that he is robotic and things of that nature, and I'll kind of get to that in a second. But my experience with him was wonderful. I don't think his personality comes through very well on those videos, but you know, we talked about my tattoos, we joked about a couple things and had a few laughs, and so the time that I spent with him, you know, was great. It's not that long of a time, but it was great. I think the reason he seems robotic to people is because he says the same things in all of his videos. And I want to point out that he's really the only surgeon that you see on YouTube doing reveals. So of course he's going to sound very robotic after you watch a ton of them. I know I watched pretty much every Garramone reveal there was before my surgery. So I knew exactly what he was going to say, when he was going to say it, and how he was going to say it. And I was prepared for that because that's what I had seen in all these videos. I guarantee you that every other surgeon is the exact same way at their post-op appointments. They probably tell you the exact same things because it's pertinent information. It's stuff you need to know. I know that I wanted to know exactly what he told the last person because I want to make sure that I'm taking care of my chest the way I'm supposed to be taking care of it and not sitting out in the sun with the sun bearing down on my nipples. I was glad to hear exactly what he had to say to the last person. All that being said, even if I had thought he was robotic or you know, I didn't like his personality or whatever, I saw him for maybe a maximum of 30 minutes my whole entire time. I saw him for, I think, maybe 15 minutes at my pre-op appointment, maybe 5 minutes while he marked me up at surgery, probably not even that long, and then 10 minutes at my post-op appointment. So I wasn't paying him to be my friend in the first place. I knew going in that there were claims of him, you know, being kind of redundant and stuff, but I didn't care. I was paying him to do my chest, and that's what he did. The fact that he was nice to me and we joked around some and I liked his personality, that was just a perk. The office staff was really helpful and really nice. I know that there are some, or were some, things that happened prior to my visit. I don't really know if I want to go into that because I'm not really sure. I think it's well known that there were some things between Garramone and New Beginnings, and I'll kind of talk about that at the end, but I'm not going to say exactly what went on. I don't know if that's really my place to be, you know, saying that. But I'll tell you kind of how it affected in my visit with New Beginnings and my experience with Garramone. At my post-op appointment, when I was leaving, his wife, actually, she's the one that does like she gives you your appointment time, stuff like that. She gave me all the paperwork I needed to file for reimbursement with my insurance. She included like the codes that they're gonna need and stuff, so hopefully I can get that done. She gave me all the paperwork I need to change my gender marker, notes for school and work and all that. They were just really helpful. I enjoyed my experience. I don't regret it one bit. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it the exact same way. I knew from before I even knew who Garramone was, when I was researching surgeons, and that's something you have to do. Like, you have to research surgeons, and the surgeon that you want, you really got to go into, you know, detailed research on him or them. I knew from the first time I saw his results, before I even knew who he was, that's who I wanted to go with. I liked his work, and I also think that it fit my body perfectly. I saw a lot of results from a lot of different surgeons and stuff, and I always went back to Garramone because that's just for my body type and just what I always envisioned my chest looking like. It was Garramone. So that was never a question of where I was gonna go. I do have really good insurance that would have covered my surgery had I gone with a surgeon that accepted insurance, but it's my chest for the rest of my life, and so I knew that I would just spend a little bit of extra time getting the money together to be able to pay out of pocket. So, you know, minus the $1,000 to maybe $1,200 I got from friends and family, I funded my surgery out of my pocket, and I don't regret it one bit. Hopefully I can get reimbursed through insurance, or at least partial reimbursement, but I don't know, and even if I can't, then I don't regret it. My stay with New Beginnings was awesome. I was afraid that it was going to be too social for me, because I know that New Beginnings is very social and stuff, and I didn't know how I was going to feel coming out of surgery. It actually ended up being pretty great. They don't force you to come out of your rooms and, you know, socialize with everybody. It was just something that you kind of take upon yourself to do. And now looking back at it, there was only a couple of us having surgery there and our partners. But even if the house was in full, like, I know this past week was pretty fun group of people, and looking back on it now, I would have been fine with, you know, full house and kind of getting to hang out with everybody and making new friends and stuff. So yeah, I'm getting kind of worried about my nips. Yeah, so the New Beginnings stay was great. I think it is imperative. It's very necessary that you stay there if you're having this surgery, especially if you're considering a hotel, because they have everything you need there. Our food was free. We had like all kinds of free food to choose from. We didn't have to go to the grocery store not once. Check out their channel. Actually, they did an interview with the people that were there during the time that I stayed, including myself, about our stay and stuff. So check out their video about that. So I'm getting a little bit nervous, so I'm gonna kind of cut this a little bit short. But the only other thing I wanted to talk about was so I guess maybe a few months ago, or maybe over the past year or so, there have been some issues between Garramone and New Beginnings, and I won't go into detail about that. I was told what it was, but it didn't affect my stay, so I don't really think there's any reason to go into detail about that. Had I not known that these issues were there, my dogs, I would have never known. Both sides were very professional. I wasn't treated any differently at Garramone's office because I was staying at New Beginnings, and I wasn't treated any different at New Beginnings because I was going to Garramone as a surgeon. There was nothing there to indicate any kind of problems at all. I think I'm kind of off track, so because I'm nervous about sitting out here in the sun and stuff, my nipples are drying out and everything. I want to get inside, so I'm gonna kind of cut this a little bit short. I'll make another video soon. Once I heal up a little bit more, and you know, I don't know. But before I go, I'll show you what my chest is doing so far. I'm really satisfied. The strips fell off a couple days ago, or at least, you know, they started kind of hanging, and I peeled them off. But yeah, gotta get rid of that. The thing that's killing me most is not being able to work out. Like, that is really driving me crazy. But yeah, it's a little bit, you know, dried and wrinkled out and stuff like that. I have been using that homemade stuff that Alex Haney made, except I can't remember if he put vitamin E in his, and I didn't put any vitamin E in mine. I know that in one of my videos I said that I was going to use that, and I was going to use bio oil, but I decided not to use the bio oil right now because it has vitamin E in it, and I've heard mixed reviews about using vitamin E on fresh scars, so I'm gonna wait and use that later. I'm using the homemade stuff, and I'm using emu oil, EMU oil, and I got it on Amazon. Everything's really soft. My scars are really flat and pretty thin. They might look a little thick because the dark where the tape was and stuff, but the scar itself is actually really thin. My nipples are doing really good. I thought this one was gonna give me some trouble, but they're actually healing up pretty evenly now. I'm satisfied. So yeah, that's all I am going to say, and I need to get